Welcome to the DMF. I am your host, Justin Yachts. In this episode, we are going to be doing a commentary. I'm going back to the film Joker, the 2019 film by Todd Phillips, and here we go. It's synced up at 2 seconds, so we will begin now. Now, I love this old logo they have here. I thought that was a nice little touch. Now look at this, how it just takes us slowly in to this film. It just goes straight in there. See all the people he's surrounded by. And here he is painting his lips. And he has this realization. A realization that the makeup and the smile that he's trying to do can never cover up how sad he truly is. And as he grips it as hard as he can to smile, he can't be happy. Now this is great. Look at this old font, the yellow writing. I love that. I heard this was done somewhere in New Jersey. And they did a lot of CGI to make it look like it was the early 70s. Now, Todd Phillips told Joaquin Phoenix that Arthur has music in him. He has music in his soul. So here he is. Okay, now he's being chased. He's chasing these kids who just stole his sign. And here he is running. Just determined. They're going to call back to that. And getting stopped by the car. It's amazing you can run that fast in those shoes. And here he is. He sees the two guys, and he gets hit in the face with a sign. And now they are just beating him to death. Now I told that shot was supposed to be like right out of a comic book, a graphic novel. This is interesting. I love this. The camera just pans out to see how pathetic this soul really is. It's just completely broken down. And here he is. He hits his flower and a little water comes out. And no one is going to help him. Oh, that's just awesome. Joker. Straight there. This scene, the first time I saw it, was like really... At first I was laughing, and then the longer it went on, I just... it became uncomfortable. It's still uncomfortable. the social worker just kind of looks at him like, you got it out? Look at that. Whoever did the production design, which I do know who did the production design, I'm lying. He really got, it just feels lived in. It feels so like, it feels like a closet that a lot of these social workers would do, especially in New York. Everything, space is so hard to get anywhere. And you see the old typewriter and the old phone. These are just nice little touches here. Great production design. Mark Friedberg. And he has worked with, let's see what he's worked with. He did Sindako, New York, The Life Aquatic. He's done a lot of good stuff. No wonder it's so good. Gemini Man. I know it's just a special thanks. Second unit director for The Upside. I don't really like that. He was a production designer for Patterson. The Beaver, Morning Glory, State of Play. A lot of good stuff here. This is a great little, like, look at the change of color to this straight white. And that's a great question he asks. Can he get more medication? So wants more. Sorry about that. I love that shot. And now we take us into, I'm on the bus. We just get that feeling of sadness from him. You can see a little bit of makeup on him that he hasn't gotten rid of completely off his neck. He just wants to make people laugh. It's really what he wants to do, is make people laugh. Entertain people. But society won't let him. And they just look at him like he's a freak. This was such a cool touch. Him, forgive my laughter, I have a condition. Joaquin Phoenix looked at a lot of people who like have that involuntary laughter, because that is a real thing. But I like how they fit that into the script. It's so... I was really taken aback by how well they did the Joker. I took a new spin on him. And this is great. You see him just trekking up. I believe this was in... I believe this is Queens. Going up these huge stairs. I bet today kids and fans of the film all go down that stairs. It's now going to become iconic. It actually is now iconic. Sorry about that. I'm getting caught with my mic here. As we get these old apartments. All these nice moody colors. They're not. Nothing's there. Look at the chipped paint. It's sad. It's interesting. When you look at his costume, he's got like this. I think they wanted him to look like he was like he was dressed so much older than he actually is. He's got this like old man clothing. And here he is, the caretaker. In some ways he looks at it as he's given up his life for his mother. She's a great actress. If you want to see some of her great work, watch 6 Feet Under. Her name is Frances Conroy. Yeah, I've always known her from 6 Feet Under. Oh, she was in Catwoman as well. Veteran stage actress. Oh. This is such a great little transition here. See the old TVs. It's like a throwback to King of Comedy here. And here we are. Look at the change of the colors. All bright. Such a contrast to where Arthur actually is. In his head, he is bright and vibrant. But in reality, he's living in a sad life. Super cats. Now this is cool. Now I hope all of you have not seen this or seen this film and are watching this because you've seen it. See, this is what Arthur wants. This recognition for doing the right thing. He knows that people think he's strange. He knows people think he's weird. But he wears it like a badge of honor. And this, in his head, is how he sees it. He's envisioning that that this talk show host is going to understand him. Is going to respect him for what he's done. Like, let's be honest. No talk show host is ever going to spend this much time on one audience member unless they did something absolutely out of the ordinary. This is stuff that happens like before their show starts. But this is what Arthur wants. He wants to be loved. He wants to make people laugh. And he wants to do the right thing. And here he is being called down. like this is so surreal. There's no way this could ever happen for him. And here's the part where it really tells us that he's dreaming. He's holding up his hand like he's a guest. Now, here we go. And the talk show's telling him that he would give up everything for a son like him. That's what he wants somebody to tell him. And now we transition to his real world. Sad. Nothing there. This is such a cool transition. Look at him. He's widening his shoes. And we see how frail and skinny, and we see the bruise that's on his back. I feel like this film really is like a tightening of the screw. Every scene just tightens the screw a little bit more, and then it tightens the screw a little bit more. Now, I love this actor. This actor's so good. I've watched him in billions. He's... Let's talk a little bit about him. Glenn Flesher. Yeah, I've seen him... the first time I saw him was in A History of Violence. I thought he was great in that. He had a little bit part in that, and he was really good. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I said A History of Violence. I meant A Most Violent Year, which is a great film. J.C. Kander did it. And it also has Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain. But he's great in it. Now this is, we're seeing the manipulative side of Randall here. Arthur's just so trusting. And look at the shadows he's using on him. The lighting. I love this joke. Is it just golf? He's got this laugh that's just so like... Now, here we go. Josh Pays. Is the name of the actor. Now look at this. He's just like... He just sees him as somebody, an employee, somebody, you know. And here Arthur did the right thing. He chased after the sign, and they broke the sign over his head, and he's having to pay for that. I mean, here, poor Arthur just sitting there, and we just see through his sadness. And like I said, it's tightening of the screw. Just tightening that screw. And then he can't really get angry at him, but he takes his anger out on this garbage. Just frustrated. Just like, I love how we're just like peeking in at his worst moments. And there he is trekking up those stairs. These long stairs. Everything to survive. And then we meet Zazie Beetz. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. I saw her the first time in Deadpool 2. But she's been in, I think she was in Atlanta. Atlanta's the big thing that she did. Zazie Beetz. Yeah, Atlanta. I was correct. And here we are, we see Arthur's reality and how people see him. And what he thinks he's saying. There he is. Returning the thing that he thinks he saw. But we don't know that. Look at that, the nice old covering for a toilet. That's great. As I said, the production design is just top notch. And I like this pink color that just looks so bland here. And we get the mother's perspective that Thomas Wayne will save her and her son. And Arthur's like, why is he gonna do anything? Just throws that out at him. Don't you have to be funny to be a comedian? Poor Arthur. And he's got the gun that Randall gave him. Oh, look at how pathetic his place is. It's so sad. And here he's watching an older film. This film was called... What is this film? I had it written down. Here comes the king. Huh. And pretending he's asking out a girl. He puts a bullet in his head. Oh, here's something I didn't know. Frances McDormand actually turned down the role of Penny. Alec Baldwin was supposed to be in it. He was supposed to play Thomas Wayne. He dropped out at the because of scheduling conflicts. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Brett Cullen was. Now this is interesting. Here he is. He's following her. In his head, he's like, there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. This is such an awesome shot. This landscape, all of New York, and it's just looking down. This film feels very voyeuristic. Just following her on William Street. This is great. There he is at a comedy club. The way this is filmed. Dark room. Arthur's just laughing at, like, he's just laughing at anything. He's not even laughing at the joke. He's just laughing. At probably the most inappropriate time to laugh at the joke. And here he is. He's got his book. And he's writing down. And let's see. Let's see what he's exactly writing down. He's got some cigarettes there. What is he writing? Eye contact. Always make sexy jokes. Always are funny. Like he has no idea what he's actually doing. He lost so much weight for this film that I was told that they could only do, that they couldn't do reshoots. Because there's no way he could stay at this weight for very long. I love this score. This score adds so much to the film. There he is writing people. Express. Expect you to behave as if you don't. The worst part about having a mental is people don't expect you to behave as if you don't. A smiley face and the don't. Our very first sign, one of the first signs of him being the Joker. And here he is. Meeting this girl again. Calling him on his stuff. But pay attention to the dialogue here. He makes a joke that, like, any person would probably be totally terrified of. She's not telling us anything about her. She's only telling us the things that he wants to hear. Another clue that this person is not real. This is in his head. This is what he wants to happen. I love this. We're at the... He's at the... at this old children's hospital. Trying to do everything he can to make these kids feel happy. As I said, he loves what he's doing. He loves this job. This is great, right here. I love this part. Like we're supposed to say, like, oh, you didn't see that, did you? Did you see that with the gun? He just brought a gun to a children's hospital. And his boss is like... Arthur's so desperate that he's... That's our first clue. That Randall, well, maybe our second clue. Because the first clue is just by the way he's lit. But the second clue is that he's screwed with him. Arthur's so defeated here. As he bangs his head into the wall. Just like we saw at the very beginning of the film when she's saying, do you know why you got out of the hospital? And we see him hitting his head against the thing, against the wall. Here he is doing that. And look at this. This train looks like the most miserable train ever. He's all dressed up. His gown and his cap. And here we are. This is the big moment where this film really shifts into gear. We've seen enough setup, now we're about to get really into it. The whole thing changes in this scene. These guys are such jerks. And at the worst possible time, his laughter breaks. And the girl thinks he's a freak. And they think he's a freak. The girl leaves. Here they are singing, sending the clowns. They have no idea that Arthur has this problem. We got the switching between the colors as the jackals slowly approach him and take off his little cap. And here we see Arthur, really sad, laughing through sadness. And they have no idea what he's going through. And Arthur, like always, is trying to find his card. And they push him. And Arthur fights back, and these bullies, down he goes. This calls back to the very first scene when he's getting beat up by the kids. But on this day, things have changed. He shoots all of them. And then we see this coward running off. He got him in the foot, killed the other two. These horrible people. Poor Arthur. The disjointed camera really brings in the feeling of this euphoric feeling of he's got his gun ready. Not today. Not today. Shoots him once. Still moving. Arthur's had enough. 1, 2, 3. No more bullets. 3 dead on 9th Avenue. We can't hear. Everything's real to him. I love that musical interlude as he's running up the stairs. Listen to that. That is a thing of beauty. And then it calls into this as he's running away. Running as fast as he can, just getting away from these guys. So into this bathroom. Now originally he was supposed to like throw the gun away and hide. And Joaquin, and Todd Phillips thought that was ridiculous. He wouldn't care. That's not what his problem is. His problem. And he played some of the score because the actual score was completed before this film, before the film was actually shot. Which is interesting that this film's music matches up so well. And Joaquin started doing this little dance. And they slowly were like, that's the scene. And here we see him being the artist. Remember, music is in Arthur's body. And here it is coming out. Like an orchestra. And we're hearing that. The theme that will be the Joker's theme. Here he is. Just free. This is like the first time Arthur feels free. Like it doesn't matter anymore. Here I am. Powerful, powerful scene. And he looks in the mirror, and now he knows who he is. He's seeing who he really is. Now this is a fascinating little take here, because the audience thinks this is real, but we know this is not. This is Arthur's head. We go from that bathroom into his head as to what he's seeing. And now Arthur feels free. But he's very angry. I believe that's Brian Cullen. He's a comedian. He's been in acting. Yep, it's Brian Cullen. Brian Cullen actually worked with him on the first Hangover as well. He was in Mad TV. I've watched Brian Cullen for a while now. He's just smashing the thing. Arthur at this moment feels free. Playing the song Carnival. He writes out that "Don't smile." See? More dancing. The music is coming out. And he's running out of medicine. This is Brett Cullen, and he was actually in The Dark Knight Rises. He played he played one of the secretaries of look at him. Look at how skinny he is. Lost so much weight for this. Congressman. That's what he's credited as. Congressman. Arthur hearing the fact that he's a coward for doing this, when he knows that they attacked him. He's getting the idea that the haves are just stepping on the have-nots. See, there's music in him. He's moving his knees. He's just got music in him all the time. This is a very revealing scene. Now notice here, some of the stuff is gone. That's a nice little touch, alluding to what's going to happen here. Arthur is now giving his true honesty. Who he really is coming out in this scene. His eyes are so intense. And now we see the reality of poverty, government cuts. But you could also even say that this is, there's this in his head. Once again, we don't hear anything from her. He's asking the question, how's he supposed to get his medicine? How am I supposed to feel good? What can I do? I need my medicine. This is what happens to poverty. They're the first people to not get medicine, to not get the treatment that they need. This is how criminals spread in some ways. It's very telling. This film really tells the truth about a lot of things that are happening in society even today. Now here we are back at, he's going to do comedy. Because he feels free. The host is just like, okay, I'll take that as needed. And here we are. Poor guy. He's got good intentions, but his problems just come through and ruin it for him. He's trying to tell a simple joke. He can't even tell one joke. That's how debilitated he is. This character is suffering so much that he's trying to overcome his... I love this, the use of the red and the yellow lights. And now we slowly transition to what Arthur sees. We've seen what the audience sees. And here's what he's seeing. We know as this film as this film goes along that he is not a reliable narrator. He's just, it's like part of what we see from an audience's perspective, and then we see Arthur's perspective. And he's seeing that what he did is a good thing. And everything around him is going. I don't mean to make this about the law of attraction, but in some ways this is the law of attraction. He's done something and he's rationalizing it, and more everything around him is rationalizing that for him. That he's done a good thing. He's created this world that this girl that he barely knows, that we don't hear anything about. There's that guy who we will see later on, that he is, this was all in the trailers. I thought these scenes would be a lot longer when I saw the film, but they're really just like little cutaways to just set up who Arthur thinks he is, because right now he's not really talking to anyone. Now we're back at the apartment. As De Niro's character's, Murray Franklin's sign-off, that's life. Which he's going to use back at him. Back at them all. And here he is dancing to an instrumental version of Frank Sinatra's That's Life. I believe that's the name of the song. Going to... He's got that music all in him. I love this instrumental version. I couldn't find it anywhere. This version of the song. Because they lit those curtains there. Such a cool look. Make this place just look like the most miserable place ever. That's life. This version was performed by Ellis Strain and his jazz orchestra. It's not really credited, but somebody found the credits. But yeah, this is a Frank Sinatra song. That's life. And here we see Arthur finding out something that he didn't know. That his mother's been hiding that his father is Bruce Wayne. He just lets that sit in. I love you forever, Penny Fleck. We transition in this scene where he's just furious. This is such a unique shot here. He looks like he's Jack Nicholson from The Shining. And he's like, okay, I'm not mad. Look at that wallpaper, pink and green. It's such a horrible contrast, but it adds the sadness of that bathroom. The blandness. There's no real color here. And then when we see colors, it's done in a way that looks bad. just listening to this, he finds out that his father is Bruce Wayne. In some ways, I think he's relieved. I love that shot. It's just so cool, showing here he is taking a train to go meet Thomas Wayne, who he doesn't know. Takes a little article out there, as if he's going to forget who the hell the person is. I know Arthur just wears the same thing every day. He's kind of stuck in a loop. He's always got his joke book. And here we see Arthur Fleck approaching the Wayne Manor. And who do we see but Bruce Wayne? The two men who will be destined to be enemies forever. And here it is, Arthur trying to make people laugh. Always trying to make people laugh. Bruce has his nice little beige coat on. He's got his little wand. And he's holding it. There you go. Oh no, there it goes down. I read somewhere that this wand was going to appear again in another scene. I'm not sure though. I'm trying to figure out where I read that. Originally they were going to have the flowers again. This is such a nice little callback to comics, the DC comics, because I mean, if you know anything about Bruce Wayne and Joker, this is Joker and Batman. Here they are, the two people who are destined to be enemies. I know I already said that, but it's very important. I remember being mesmerized by this scene. Look at that. The realization. He knows that the mother is crazy. He's almost kind of like, oh my God. This is the son. Grown up. Oh, I'm sorry. It was actually the Bronx. Where the stairs are. It's the Bronx. Grabbing him. We see the violence underneath the surface that he's capable of. And it scares him. He runs away. This is such a gritty film. I was so surprised when they allowed this to be made this way. Apparently Warner Brothers did not want this to be as gritty as it ended up being, but Todd Phillips fought like hell for that. Said this is what it needs to be. And he was right. Now here we have two of my favorites. Bill Camp and Glenn Fleshler. Bill Camp, I saw the first time I saw him was in Birdman. He was the guy that's raving out and saying, I can do it again if you want me to. He was also in a film called Compliance. And Shea Wingham, I saw him in Vice with Christian Bale. He plays Amy Adams' father. Here we have the two detectives. Look at the way they're dressed. It's so out of the comics. I forgot he was in American Hustle as well. I read that Joaquin Phoenix would get frustrated on set. Sometimes he would just have to walk off the set and then he'd walk back on. And sometimes the actors would get frustrated thinking that it was them. I don't think people realize how hard a role this had to have been. Nice little taste of slapstick comedy. I'm walking right to the exit. Now once again we see Zazie Beetz' character with him, Sophie, but she doesn't say anything about her or anything. She's just there for him as a character. More clues that this person doesn't exist. Although it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. The way it's directed, you could believe like that was still real, but I remember seeing this, I had kind of already caught on that, I don't know if she's real. Here's another turn for Arthur. And finally getting some recognition. And he... Okay, continuing. Here we are. And as you can see in this scene, look at that television. That is so old. But look, Arthur finally has what he's always wanted. He is on TV. He's famous in some ways. He's recognized. There's a knowledge to him. He didn't think he would ever have that. Look at how happy he is. And then reality just sets right in on him. Poor Arthur. This scene just says, poor Arthur. And he's looking at all these eyes. He's completely disgusted. Wow. And look at his apartment. You can see that he's become obsessed with the movement that he believes he's created. You see his joke book, his cigarettes, his gun. He still has the gun that was given to him by Randall. But he's been obsessed with the movement. And look, now he's seeing the movement that he believes he created on TV. And they're telling all the things that are basically in his head. You know, screw the rich. We gotta... Look, here we have Thomas Wayne, Brett Cullen. He's a typical politician in this film, saying something like, you know, I don't know, these people don't understand, you know, I'm here to help them. Not realizing how demeaning that comment comes off. Originally, Thomas Wayne was going to be played by Alec Baldwin, but he dropped out right before shooting began due to scheduling conflicts. Look, now he's going to a premiere for, well, not really a premiere, but a screening, I guess you could say, of Modern Times, which is a Charlie Chaplin film. Great film, by the way. Arthur is... He's taken back by this movement. And here he is, he's sneaking in. Let's talk about where that is filmed. Look at him, he looks like a bellboy from the 1930s. Dressed in the red. That's actually Lowe's Jersey Theater in Jersey City. The exterior was. I'm gonna... so out of place. Yes, look. He's watching Charlie Chaplin, who's very similar to Arthur in some ways. It's almost as if he's looking at himself, or what he wishes to be. I mean, that's what he wants to be as an entertainer. And there's Brett Cullen, plays Thomas Wayne, laughing. He's gonna go for all. Look at the audience. They look like something out of the 1930s as well. And here he is. Look at him. It's almost as if he's meeting God. The whole place is all lit. He completely fades into the background. He's so out of place in this scene. I love the contrast between the colors, and here he is with his little brown jacket. And he thinks he's meeting his father. And Thomas Wayne realizes that this guy is the guy that came to his house, and he knows kind of what's going on here. And Arthur's been told a lie. He has no idea about the truth of his real parentage. He says, yeah, she didn't tell you? He has no idea that he's adopted. He has no idea that any of this actually happened to him. He's upset. Arthur's cool, doing his thing. This guy has no idea that that's actually a problem he has, that he can't help it. He kind of wears it a little bit. Ooh, that was straight out of the, they had that in the trailer. Although in the trailer it showed a punch and then he was rolling back. Or it's interesting scene here. They just kind of were filming and he actually just did this. Look at how emaciated he looks. He's pulling all this stuff out. Sorry about that. He actually went into a refrigerator. He actually did that. This is so interesting because it's almost like we're delving into Arthur's mind. Or he, him going into that refrigerator is almost symbolic of where he's going. This is a cool little takeaway. You hear the phone, and it takes us to the next day. You're going to see here that he actually has the clown. Look, he's got the clown stuff all over. He's become obsessed with the movement that's begun by him. He's almost in shock and that Murray Franklin wants him on the show. Look at that, the wheels are turning. He's creating a plan. He's creating a plan, but he doesn't know who he is, and he has to find out who he is for him to continue. He can't keep going on with it. There's no smile, there's no him trying to make people laugh. He's trying to figure out who he is. Now the Arkham State Hospital, which is a nice little tribute to us comic book fans, because Batman always takes his villains to Arkham Asylum, so it's Arkham State Hospital. This was straight out of the trailer, and it made you think that like he's taking crazy people down with him in the trailer. But it's really just like a little cutaway. The Arkham State Hospital, this was filmed in Brooklyn Army Terminal and Sunset Park. Interesting. Now here we have an actor by the name of I don't want to butcher his name, Brian Tyree Henry. The first time I really saw him was in Widows, and then I saw him again just recently in the Child's Play remake. He has a part in that. He was playing this clerk character, where he's kind of realizing that Arthur's not all put together. He's probably wondering, is this guy supposed to be here? Did he escape? And he's kind of like, look, well, I can't really help here. Look at him now, he's going to take away. He's realizing that this guy is the guy he is reading about. And he's kind of trying to help him. He doesn't really want to put him down. He's just really like, look, I want to help you out here, man. I don't want to... He doesn't want to be the one to give him the news that is really screwed up. But Arthur has to know. Has to know. And look, what does he do when he gets in trouble? He bangs his head. What did we see at the beginning when he was in the hospital? Banging his head. What did we see when he got fired? He banged his head. So 3 times we've seen him bang his head in a way to run away. This scene is probably the most emotionally driven scene. What we're about to find out. What Arthur is about to discover about himself. That everything he has been told has been a lie. That his disability was self-induced. All these things. He was physically abused. Look at that. Look at that. Adopted. His mother was abused as well. And not only was he abused, but he was left starving. This is such a sad scene. As this scene really develops empathy for what Arthur is about to become. And also his laugh is based on people suffering from a pathological laughter. And look, now Arthur's going back and he realizes that everything he has been told has been a lie. Sorry about that. I had to move the mic. And if you didn't know that he's created people in his head, there's your first hint that these people are not what he seems. Like he's touching everything. He's touching everything to see. Is this real? Is this real? Look, she has no idea who he is, although she's seen him before. He does not know. It's had a bad day. Nod to the Killing Joke right there. One bad day can change a life. Alan Moore's comic. Great comic. If you want to hear about Joker's origins, or one idea of his origins. Look, here he is. He's putting the gun to his head, or what he thinks he saw in the elevator. And we know now he created this all in his head. He was talking to no one. No one was there. And she has no idea what he's talking about. She's fearful that this man is going to kill her kid. Now, a lot of people thought, like, did he do something to those two? And he didn't. He never did anything to. He only did things to people that did something to him. People are probably screaming at him. Shut up. It's a New York apartment. Upset. He may be laughing, but he is in pain. In absolute pain. As he knows his whole life, everything about him was a lie. Complete lie. Little fact here. Frances McDormand was offered the role of Penny, and she turned it down. And Frances Conroy has actually voiced, he was a voice actor in All-Star Superman and Superman Unbound. Now he's going to tell her the truth. And there's the tagline for the movie. I thought my life was a comedy, was a tragedy, but now I know that it's a comedy. And there he is, he's killing his mother. It's so simple, but it feels graphic and it feels very strong. And remember, this is the second person Joaquin Phoenix has killed by suffocation. You may remember him as Commodus in Gladiator. He killed his father in that. Now he kills his mother. He's killed the whole family. Little dark joke there. And she's gone. And he has no remorse. He feels that woman allowed him, lied to him, and kept him in a box. Now this is right out of Rupert Pupkin from King of Comedy. Watching himself. Look, you can even see. I don't think he would have a VCR because VCRs were not popular. Maybe this was 1982. I think it's like 1978. Feels like 1978, but it could be 1982 as well, which then he may have that. But look, the curtain is the shower curtain. Arthur's got on his clown, his act clothing. He's practicing for his big debut. Got the gun. This is a nice little twist on what's going to happen. Because from this, the audience thinks, oh, he's going to blow his brains out live on television. And now look what we hear. In all its glory, we hear, that's life. And he's putting this in his hair, and he's doing his hair. And look, remember, Arthur has music in him, and now the music is coming out. There's nothing holding him back. He's gotten rid of his mother. He is free. He's going to be on TV. Everything is what he wants. And now he is putting on the face that will allow him to be truly himself, as opposed to what he thinks he is. Batman puts on a mask to strike fear in his opponents. And this Joker puts on the makeup to truly be himself, to free himself from the constraints of society. got his scissors. And look who it is. It's Randall and Gary. Asking them to come in. And now he knows Randall is basically just there to save himself. And the fact that he is putting out a cigarette on his own wall is a sign that Arthur is not to be messed with right now. There he is. He's got that. And here. Arthur's had it. Ooh. This was probably the scene that the studio was very scared of. Look at how vicious he is. Now we see that he is willing to kill in cold blood viciously. We see that he is angry. He feels betrayed, lost. And he just killed him. Poor Gary. He's terrified. Now this always got a laugh in the audience every time I saw it. Huge laugh. Little dark humor there. He can't get out. Poor little Gary can't get out. And here we see Arthur opening the door. Hesitates, but he realizes that Gary was always nice to him. So this man was only going to attack those that harmed him in some way. And there's Gary Glitter, and here's what we paid for. This is what we've been waiting for since this movie began. He is now the Joker. He is the Joker. He's free. And look, there's the stairs. I'm sure those stairs are, everyone goes down those stairs every day now. Yeah, the Bronx. We're in the Bronx here. I had it wrong. I said Queens. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this is the Bronx. And look at him. He's free. He might as well be going down golden stairs to heaven as It's a urine-soaked stairs. Horrible, but for him, this is freedom. And now there is no dancing that is holding him back. He is doing everything that he believes who he is. He lost everything, but in the end, he has become the Joker. Or Joker. And he's free. Also, they hired a choreographer, and they just gave him some dance moves, but it wasn't really choreographed. They just gave him some moves to do. Now here we are. Now we're like out of French Connection here as the cops run. Remember at the very beginning of the movie when he's running and chasing the guys with the sign. Here he is. Oh! Gets hit with the car. By the taxi. But he is running off. Nothing is going to stop him now. Old. Arthur could not have picked a better place for him to get onto a train. And they're like, hold that train. Are they going to hold the train? Yeah. And the cops are with the people who are anti-cops. I don't think it's going to work out too well for them. And there he is. Great shot there. Rips the mask off somebody. Now, the funny thing is, when they were filming this, a lot of the extras were upset because they weren't getting bathroom breaks. And I think somebody was severely dehydrated because it was so hot. Yeah, they shot the wrong guy in the wrong train. And they are... It's not going to end up too well for them. Because they're getting mauled. And there's Arthur. Dancing along. He's got where he needs to go. And he's walking off. They actually filmed this in real time, but slowed down, it really works. Nothing is going to stop him from what he is going to do. And look, even his makeup's running a little bit. And now we're at the Murray Franklin show, which this is Brooklyn as well. I believe it's Steiner Street. I'm sorry, Steiner Studios. Put on a happy face. Is that a little tribute to the 1989 Batman? I think it is. And here he is, looking at everything. And look who we see. It's Marc Maron. He's here. Marc Maron is back. Or is now in this film. He plays the producer. And look, he's been redoing his makeup there. And Marc Maron plays Gene. On the show. He was on the show Maron. Dr. Sally. As if we're supposed to know who that is. I love that little twist. Yes, you're going to be on after Dr. Sally. Is that like supposed to be Dr. Ruth? And here's another little tagline from the trailer. You introduce me as Joker. He's throwing it back in his face. Hey, you guys, back to this little dance. Just a little more hint of what's to come, or what we think might come, as he's looks as if he is going to kill himself on TV. Now, at this point, Joker is, look at that, he's bathed in that blue light. He's so cold now. Nothing is going to stop him from what he is going to do. Just bathed in that blue light as he watches them make fun of him. Just doing a little bit of a dance there. It's this big moment. This reminds me of something out of The Dark Knight Returns a little bit. A comic graphic novel by Frank Miller. This Joker goes on a talk show and kills everyone. Not quite as bad as that. Here. And here he comes. Da, 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 da. The cinematographer did such a great job. Now, when he filmed this, they did like 8 different takes of this, and he did 8 different things. Like, at one point, he came in from the back way. He did all kinds of different things. I think this was the one to go with. Although I love the one where he came through the actual back of the set. Kissing Dr. Ruth. And Franklin's kind of like, I don't know what to make of this guy. I guess that's supposed to be his, what is it, Ed McMahon? Like the Ed McMahon of Murray Franklin. It's supposed to be like a twist between Carson and Johnny Carson and Rupert Pupkin from King of Comedy. Just no idea what to make of this guy. As he smiles through his cigarette-stained teeth. See, at this point, Arthur is no longer afraid. He now wears his laugh like a badge of honor. Look at the white socks. If that jacket that Franklin is wearing doesn't say 70s, I don't know what does. He's got his joke book. I like this. We flip through some of the pages and we see, imagine your life on the sidewalk. He also says, I hope my life will make more sense. Another little fake out that he's going to kill himself on this show that they're building towards. Look at that. They're all... His little Ed McMahon is so fake. Now they're telling him what's funny. Now he lets them know what he's done. Gene, Mark Mansker, is like, yeah, let's cut him off. Let's go to commercial. Got nothing left to lose. This is where we really see Arthur and how he thinks about how he's been treated. Here's the real truth. Here's the power that Arthur really has. Inciting people to look at. He's putting the mirror up to society, saying, you guys decide what's funny or not, just like you decide what's real and what's legal and everything. Society decides that. And he's saying that might not necessarily be right. And we look at it and we have winners and losers. And he's saying, do you ever look at the loser to see where they came from or what's wrong with them? No, we just put them as a loser. This guy's a winner. This guy's a loser. We're all about labels. And he's taking that label idea and twisting it on its head. Look at this. There's me lying on the street. You'd walk right over me. See why he says? It's like I'm invisible, but because these three guys got killed, it means something. What about my life? My life doesn't mean anything? And now he's throwing it back on Murray. That you don't really care about anything. Arthur has lost his whole life, the job that he wanted, everything has been taken from him. So he has nothing left to lose. He is going to let everybody know how he feels, whether they like it or not. And he's got something to say about how society treats him and people like him. It's telling him the truth. Laugh at him. That's how he feels. Now he looks at the sign and he says, you know what, I'm going to smile back at you as I attack you. Society that abandons him and treats him like trash. I remember the first time I saw this, I thought it was funny. It does come off funny. It's just so awkward. Here he is sitting on TV with a guy dead. And he's laughing. He's got some psychopathic tendencies, as we can see here. But it is kind of funny, just the way that, look, he shoots him again, as if this guy's going to get up again. He has no idea what to do with himself. And look, he's going to give him the tagline that Franklin Murray always gives. Arthur Murray, sorry about that. And we cut to the off-air thing, which is very similar to Network and what happens with, I keep forgetting his name. Let's see if I can remember his name. And then we can see in there what actually happened afterwards. Like they're playing it right back. Look, you see the cops dragging them off. Yeah, just like Howard Beale. When Howard Beale is killed and they just kind of cut to commercial. And now we're back in New Jersey. This was filmed in New Jersey. This scene. It looks very similar to the street where he was running with the... But yeah, that little cutaway there was very similar to Network. Yeah, Market Street at Washington Street, Newark, New Jersey. This is where they filmed this scene. And Market Street in Newark, although it was the Paramount Theater, that is where he was the clown when he was running it. So it's still kind of very similar to the same street, maybe a little bit different. And Arthur is just pleased because he has incited people to stand up. And here comes the most expensive shot in the movie. And now look, they were all excited to see him. Sorry about that. I messed up. Right there. And here we see that clown coming back into it. And he's picking him up. Like the messianic figure that he has become to these people. Now, anyone who has seen any comic books and knows anything about Batman, when you see the Zorro the Gay Blade, you know where this is going. And this was such a cool twist on that. To take Arthur indirectly creating his greatest foe, Batman. What Arthur has done creates Batman. And it doesn't hit you over the head too much with it, but I think most people get that this is supposed to be the creation of Batman. I mean, that's Thomas Wayne. I don't know how else you can get this. And there it is, the pearls. And here's Arthur coming back to life. And we see that Arthur is now waking back up. And what does he see now? He's a hero. He's a somebody. They love him. He's loved. Arthur has always wanted to be loved, and now he has an audience. He just wants to entertain and make people happy. And he's made all these people happy. As he stands up and sees a crowd of people cheering him on, adoring his every move. There he does his dance. It's like he's doing the Murray Franklin dance in some ways. Although his version of it. He's so happy in some ways. Although he does realize but now, remember at the very beginning, he was pulling his teeth just to smile. Now he just puts a smile on his face with his own blood. Because in some ways, he finally has what he's always wanted. His story is complete. He has an audience. People love him. It might as well be the comedy club that he's always wanted. And people are cheering him for what he has done. And now we go back. Notice here, white. Just like when we saw the flashback to his mother. Just like when we saw the flashback to him hitting his head at the very beginning of the film. Now he's in bright colors. White. No. I keep missing that. And now he's with somebody who just, psychologist, just sees him as this thing. And look, there we see him. The joke. The killing joke from Alan Moore's. That one bad day can change everything. And here we are. And he realizes they're not going to get it. They won't get his joke. Maybe that's life. He's come full circle. And there he is. I don't think he killed the woman. I believe that that's just symbolic of the blood that it took him to get to where he is now. That he's lived a life that's worth what he's always wanted. There he is. Now, funny thing, some people say Arthur's not really a reliable narrator. Todd Phillips has made it known that maybe this isn't even the real Joker. This could be just him overhearing a story and telling this to the psychologist. And we just see even how more insane he is, that that's not necessarily him. It's just his idea of what he... As you can see, there's more writing on the walls there. The end. Wonderful film. Directed by Todd Phillips. Wonderful, wonderful job he did there. Scott Silver, great. But that's one of the things that this might not be the actual Joker. That this Joker is, that this is another Joker. This is a Joker who, you know, somebody overheard this, and now the next film, maybe we'll see the real Joker here. We don't know. They haven't really talked much about it, but we've seen that he's not really a reliable narrator. Because look, he could have made this all up. This might not even have actually happened at all. But Arthur is a complex character. I love this film. I thought this film really nailed what it needed to be. I love the Killing Joke, that comic book, which shows what a lot of people see as one of the origins of the Joker. And they took all that, and they took some of the stuff from The Dark Knight Returns and put that in with the talk show. And you got King of Comedy stuff in there, and you've got Taxi Driver. He's very similar to Travis Bickle in some ways. This film just hit on all cylinders. I love it. And the best part is, it was rated R, and it made $1 billion at the box office. The first ever rated R film to make $1 billion at the box office. That's a feat unto itself, because no one thought it was going to make that kind of money. The score was written and composed while the woman read the script. They hadn't even filmed anything yet. I just think this is a piece of art. This is a film that we're going to talk about for years to come. This is up there with Logan, with Wolverine, that gritty stuff. But one thing, that might not be the real Joker. We don't know. So I want to say thank you for listening to my commentary on Joker. I enjoyed talking about this. It took me several tries, but one time I taped it and it didn't go through. But I enjoyed talking about this. I love this film. And I say thank you for listening. And I will see you next time on the DMF.